Right now, the LEARNS Act in Arkansas in limbo once again. A judge today blocking the education reform law from taking effect for a second time.
This just keeps going. This comes just 2 weeks after the state's Supreme Court sent it back to the Circuit Court. 5 News reporter Catherine Gilker is here with a look at today's developments. Catherine.
Today's ruling by a Pulaski County Circuit judge found lawmakers have been violating the state's constitution with the way they vote on laws they want to take effect right away. That includes the LEARNS Act, which is among those passed last session with an emergency clause.
10 days after a hearing about whether the LEARNS Act emergency clause is effective, Pulaski County Circuit Judge Herbert Wright has ruled the LEARNS Act can't take effect until August 1st. In his ruling, Judge Wright says lawmakers did not follow a constitutional requirement for a separate roll call vote to enact an emergency clause, which would immediately put the law into effect once signed by the governor. As a result, he says the law goes into effect 90 days after the General Assembly has called an end to the session.
The fact that they've unconstitutionally passed the emergency clause took that right away from the people. And so now that it has been ruled unconstitutional since they didn't follow the rules in the Constitution, we now have the opportunity to hold the LEARNS Act in abeyance until the people have an opportunity to vote for or against it.
Veronica McClain is the chair of Citizens for Arkansas Public Education, or CAPES. The group is working to get an item on the November 2024 ballot that would allow voters to decide if LEARNS should be repealed. McClain says CAPES is pleased with the ruling, which comes after the State Department of Education had already opened up applications for education freedom accounts implemented under LEARNS that allow certain students to get vouchers for private schools.
We were already finding that some of our schools that accepted children with special education needs were already having to put an unfair burden on the parents and the students that were already utilizing those schools because of some of the problems with the voucher program, because it's a scam.
New at 6, reaction from Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She says in part, quote, "This politically motivated lawsuit is absurd, and those responsible should be ashamed of themselves for trying to hurt our kids' futures," end quote. Sanders says she will work to continue to implement LEARNS. Catherine Gilker, 5 News.
All right, Catherine, thanks. Arkansas State Attorney General Tim Griffin quickly responding to today's ruling, saying he plans to continue to defend the LEARNS Act and will appeal the ruling issued today to the state Supreme Court. Meanwhile, today's ruling comes as opponents of the LEARNS Act try to take the plan before voters. They're still gathering signatures on a petition to put a question on the ballot to let Arkansas voters have their say. They have to collect more than 54,000 signatures in at least 50 counties across the state by the end of next month for that petition to make it on the ballot next November.